This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer into Reaction. Anthologies are hard. An anthology is a movie or television show typically done by different people covering the same or similar topics. So, The Twilight Zone is an anthology series. Each episode was typically unrelated to the one that came after it or before it, but it all covered similar things. Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark is an anthology. Now, the thing about them, they're difficult and they can be very hit or miss. For instance, with Creepshow 2, another anthology series, you can get great stories like The Raft, and you can get not so great stories like Chief Woodenhead, I believe it was called. So, they're hard to do because you have to maintain that level of consistency from one to the next. A weak story may not necessarily torpedo an anthology series, but it doesn't help it, that's for sure. And if you have two, that's just a kiss of death, frankly. One is not even going to bring the others up, but at least you'll derive some enjoyment from it. Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark is, as I said, an anthology series, but it's being executive produced by Guillermo del Toro. The man is just uber talented. This is a good thing. What's not such a good thing is that he's not directing them as far as I'm aware. Any of them, perhaps. And Guillermo del Toro, as an executive producer, is very hands-off. In fact, I heard a commentary, he was talking about this very thing, and what he said is that he's there by the phone. If the director needs him, he's there. He's doing whatever it takes. But he's not looking over his shoulder. He's not needling them about what they should or shouldn't do. It's their project, and he's available as a resource. As a director, I would imagine that's awesome to know that he has enough faith in you that he's going to leave you alone to do what you think needs to be done. As a fan of sci-fi and horror, fantasy, stuff like that, that's not so great because Guillermo del Toro is brilliant, a visionary, and I would love to have him take over these projects, frankly, but that's not going to happen. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the trailer for Scary Tales to Tell.
And it's that.
It's your book of scary stories. Some people believe that if we repeat stories often enough, they become real. They make us who we are. That can be scary.
Eat it, Harold.
You want to see a haunted house?
Some kids went missing, so they boarded it up.
Okay, we saw it. We go now?
Boarded the chicken.
Thank you.
What's that?
It's a book of scary stories.
That's gonna happen.
Tell me a story.
Scarecrows are creepy.
Hey, what's going on?
Tommy's missing.
Tommy's name was in the book. There's no way it's actually connected, right? Wait, what if what happens in the book is exactly what's happened for real? Oh my god. Andy!
Stella!
Listen, you're in the next story. We're reading it right here.
It's a corpse looking for her missing toe.
Huggy needs to know how to lock doors.
something up.
You shouldn't have taken the book.
We've got to stop it.
Sarah Bellows' book. The stories write themselves and it all comes alive.
The Jangling Man is coming.
was a trailer for Scary Tales in the Dark, and it looks pretty good. Now, I mentioned earlier that anthology movies tend to be directed by different people. Each story in the movie is directed by different people. Looking at this one, it appears that this Ordeval person is directing the entire movie, though there are individual stories within it. So that's good, because then you have a singularity of vision. That's really important. Once again, but it's not Guillermo del Toro. But it looks really good, though that last bit was a bit too CGI dependent for my liking. I mean, if they could have had a contortionist mimicking those movements to the best of his ability, that would have been more interesting. Because a CGI person can twist in whatever way you want, but it looks like a CGI person contorting. It doesn't look real, and therefore it doesn't look scary. But on the whole, this looks really intriguing. Definitely one to catch. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer into Reaction. And do you want to see Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark? Do you not want to see it? Do you even like horror movies? Let me know what you think. Peace.